Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick.
Think about it. 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 Think about it.
bass kick.
Think about it. 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 Biggest thing that's ever happened.
Breakdown.
Think about it. 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 Think about
Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick.
Think about it. 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 Think about it.
are reconvening our 9 a.m. board meeting down here on the dais at this point. And we are still in executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session at this point.
Mr. Chair, I move that we come out of executive session.
All right,
Second.
and that's been moved and seconded. Let's go ahead and proceed with that vote. Commissioner Geithner?
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Aye.
Commissioner Bremer?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That passes 4-0 with Commissioner Williams absent. And we have a statement from our county attorney at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The board is exiting executive session wherein direction was given but no decisions were made.
All right, thank you very much. And seeing no further business on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned. All right, for those in the audience, we'll need a couple of minutes for the computer to reconfigure, and then we will convene the land use meeting. Just give us a moment. All right, at this point, we will convene our Tuesday, September 27th, Board of County Commissioners Land Use Meeting. Our first order of business is to call this meeting to order. We do have all 5 commissioners present. And our first item on the agenda is item number 1.
Item 1 is staff emergency items. There are none.
Very good, and item number 2.
Item 2 is changes, postponements. Notice the next meeting. There are no changes or postponements, and our next meeting will take place on October 4th.
Very good. Item number 3.
Item 3 is public comment on items not scheduled on the agenda. Is there any member of the public today to speak on a matter that's not scheduled on this agenda?
All right, I don't see anybody coming down. Just checking anybody online. Okay, very good. Let us proceed then to item number 4.
Item 4 is Special District Service Plan, Meadow Lake Metropolitan District, numbers 1 through 3. A request by Meadow Lake Developments LLC and Kevin O'Neill for approval of a Colorado Revised Statutes Title 32 Special District Plan for the Meadow Lake Metropolitan District, numbers 1 through 3. The 254.7 acre area included within this request is Zone PUD, Planned Urban Development. It is located at the northwest corner of Curtis Road and Falcon Highway intersection, south of Judge Orr Road, and is within Section 9, Township 13 South, Range 64 west of the 6th Prime Meridian. The proposed service plan includes the following: a maximum debt authorization of $95 million, a debt service mill levy of 50 mills for commercial, a debt service mill levy of $5 million for special purpose, and an operations and maintenance mill levy of 10 mills, for a total maximum combined residential mill levy of 65 mills. The statutory purposes of the district include the provision of the following: 1, street improvements and safety protection; 2, design, construction, and maintenance of drainage facilities; 3, design, land acquisition, construction, and maintenance of recreation facilities; 4, mosquito control; 5, design, acquisition, construction, installation, and operation of and maintenance of television relay and translation facilities; 6, covenant enforcement. 7, design, construction, and maintenance of public water and sanitation systems. Parcel numbers 43000-00-548, 43000-00-551, 43000-00-552, and 43000-00-553. Commissioner District Number 2, ID-22-001, Carrie Parsons, Senior Planner, Planning and Community Development.
Very good. Good afternoon.
Good morning, or nope, good afternoon, Commissioners. Carrie Parsons with Planning and Community Development. The item before you is for the Meadow Lake Metropolitan District, as read into the record, numbers 1 through 3. It is an all-commercial metropolitan district. If there is anybody watching, please use this email if you would like to participate in the hearing. Mr. Hodgins read into the record the request. Would like to mention that the requested standard time limit for debt payoff is 30 years. And with that, I'd also like to do a little housekeeping. Staff provided a updated resolution on the dais. There was some minor changes, removing a symbol and actually typing the word title to some of the paragraphs. In addition, we expanded condition number 1, recommended that the board should approve. And then we also modified a reference in the Colorado Revised Statute to section 32.1.203 in lieu of 207. And I believe that covers it. Any questions on the changes to the resolution?
Very good. Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Bremer.
Yes, no changes to the actual, no questions about the actual proposed changes. In terms of what was read into the record today, I do want to clarify that I believe there is a typo as well in the middle of that, referring to about halfway through for a total maximum combined commercial mill levy of 65 mills. Is that correct?
Yes, it should be commercial. That is correct.
In the paper, it says residential. On the agenda itself.
Oh, on the agenda. I'm sorry, sir.
I'm just referring, Mr. Hodges, to what was read into the record.
Understood. Thanks, Commissioner. I do believe that that is commercial. It should not read residential.
Good catch. Thank you. Okay, are there any other questions from any of the commissioners at this point before we continue? All right, seeing none, let's keep going.
Okay, thank you. With permission, I would like to ask Ms. Sego to read into the record the mandatory mandatory criteria for disapproval and then the discretionary criteria for disapproval.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Lori Sego, Senior Assistant County Attorney. State statute provides 2 sets of criteria when considering service plans for new special districts. The first, as stated on the slide in front of you, are mandatory. So you shall disapprove this service plan unless evidence satisfactory of each of the following is presented, and they are as follows: that there is sufficient existing and projected need for organized service in the area to be served by the proposed district, that the existing service in the area to be served by the district is inadequate for present and projected needs, that the proposed district is capable of providing economical and sufficient service to the area within its proposed boundaries, and that the area to be included in the proposed special district has or will have the financial ability to discharge the proposed indebtedness on a reasonable basis. The discretionary criteria for approval provide a basis upon which you may disapprove the service plan if you so choose, if evidence of the following is not presented: that adequate service is not or will not be available to the area through the county or other existing municipal or quasi-municipal corporations, including existing special districts, within a reasonable time and on a comparable basis; that the facility and service standards of the proposed district are compatible with the facility and service standards of El Paso County; that the proposal is in substantial compliance with the county master plan and with any duly adopted county, regional, or state long-range water quality management plans; and that the creation of the proposed district will be in the best interests of the area proposed to be served.
Okay, this item was heard before the Planning Commission. It was voted, recommended for approval unanimously. There was no opposition for the item at the Planning Commission hearing. The date set hearing was September 6th. The item was not discussed on the dais. Today before you is the official hearing. I should also mention that the rezonings that are discussed in the service plan and which the service plan is based on, those were very recently approved, and those are in Commissioner Geithner's district for the heavy industrial I-3, the light industrial I-2, and then the commercial service just south of the Meadow Lake Airport. And with permission, Chairman, I'd like to ask the applicant to come up and provide a presentation.
And good afternoon.
Struggle when I have to connect my computer to anything. Jennifer Ivey with Ice Snuggle, Seaver Pogue, legal counsel for the applicants, petitioners for the formation of this district. It does appear that what Carrie has loaded is actually the Planning Commission version of this. We did not make any substantial changes. I did, on the version on my computer, change the verbiage there that this is not August 18th and you are the Board of County Commissioners. But otherwise, this should be substantively the same for you.
Thank you, and I appreciate you giving the presentation, but just you might want to be a little bit closer to the mic to make sure it gets recorded.
Thank you. Let's see if I can get it to the right height. There we go. All right, so this is the Meadow Lake Metropolitan Districts numbers 1 through 3. I think that everyone is fairly familiar with this, having just heard the land use entitlements in the last couple of weeks. So I won't belabor the points here, just go over very briefly what we have in the presentation. The developer is Kevin O'Neill with the O'Neill Group. The team that we've assembled here for the Metro District is Piper Sandler as a financial advisor. They've put together the financial plan that sets the basis for the financial capabilities of the district. Legal counsel is myself, Jennifer Ivey with Ice Snuggle, Seaver Pogue. Planner is NES Inc. And surveyors SMH Consultants. Project information, as I mentioned, you've just seen this recently, so I will just skip over this. This was just recently approved. I did add that on the version that I have on my computer, but obviously you're all very well aware of that. Special districts in Colorado, they're created to serve a public use, promote the health, safety, prosperity, security, and general welfare of the inhabitants of the districts, and are really consistent with the user pay or growth funding its own way concept that is now the majority for development in the state of Colorado and here in El Paso County. I think this information is probably a little bit outdated. I think we have closer to 3,000 metropolitan districts now in Colorado and over 150 in El Paso County the last time I counted, which I think admittedly was in the spring. So there's probably a couple more than that at this point. Here, these districts, as have been mentioned, are to serve commercial development in the Meadow Lake development area. They're going to take on roadway drainage, stormwater, landscaping, walls, water, and sanitary sewer. They're going to have some ongoing maintenance responsibilities for items that other jurisdictions are not willing to take on, including district-owned drainage and stormwater facilities, non-dedicated public streets, and some common areas. We're also going to provide a special purpose for potential covenant enforcement and design review services if that's something that will be needed on a going forward basis. And this is a limited purpose district, so there's no overlapping districts that are providing the same services. While the district here may provide some infrastructure for water, sanitation, roadway, and fire protection, we won't provide those on an ongoing basis where there's another service provider that already provides that. The multiple district structure here allows for differential mill levies in different portions of the commercial development. That way you're able to tailor the mill levies to the potential development within the different sectors and the different industrial versus commercial zoning classifications. as required by the Special District Act. The service plans before you today does include the proposed services, a boundary map, your population and assessed valuation estimates, the facilities to be constructed, cost estimates, and proposed IGAs, which at this time there are none proposed. Some that are contemplated potentially, but none proposed. As you've seen in your staff report and heard from your planning department, this does comply with Chapter 9 of the El Paso County Land Development Code and your current special district regulations adopted pursuant to Resolution 07272. So the service plan before you today does meet the statutory criteria. It also meets your discretionary criteria that were read into the record. Staff has no outstanding concerns or issues with the service plan, and it is consistent with the county's model or policies, model, service plan, and requirements. We do meet the statutory criteria as well. There is sufficient existing and projected need for the services in the area. The existing service in the area is not adequate. There are not service providers willing to provide that. The proposed district is capable of providing the services in an economical and sufficient manner, and will have the financial ability to discharge the proposed indebtedness on a reasonable basis as set forth in the financial plan attached to the service plan. These criteria, and I go into a bit more detail on these slides, but in the interest of time, I know you've paused from one meeting to come back to this meeting. I'm going to skip over these and just go ahead and open up for any questions. What we're asking for today is in line with the recommendation of the Planning Commission, which did vote 8-0 to recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners. So today we'd be asking for the Board of County Commissioners to open the public hearing on this matter, take any public comment, and after closing the public hearing, approve the resolution as amended before you. That we do have a group from the land development team. I hope our financial advisors are on the line in case you have financial questions. And of course, I'm here to answer questions as well.
Okay, are there any questions for the applicant from the board at this time? All right, seeing none, thank you very much, and we'll have staff come back up.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm going to skip over the background because we've kind of beat that over the head with the previous rezonings and go to the mill levies. Currently, there's approximately 70.9 mills on this property, and if this proposed district is approved, that mill levy maximum would go up to about 135.9 commercial mills for the property. In terms of impacts to the county's SOT, of course, initially there is a shortage, but over the course of 30 years, there would be a net gain of approximately $10.75 million in SOT revenue if this special district were created and the businesses are developed in accordance and as described in the service plan. Are there any questions tied to the financial analysis provided by our finance department?
Any questions from the board at this point? Okay.
I was really prepared to do math in public, so I was hoping. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe we won't have to do that today.
In terms of the staff report and the analysis that your staff did find that the mandatory criteria has been met, that the applicant did show a need for the district, that there is no other district in the area that is able to design, construct, or maintain the infrastructure needed within the legal description or the infrastructure that will be required based on the engineering reports to be completed at the time of a final plat or preliminary plan. Nor are any districts in the area, do they have the ability to increase their debt to provide those services for the requirements of this proposal. In terms of the discretionary criteria, staff did also find that the district does comply with the criteria, and I have provided great detail in the staff report. I'll just hit on some key areas if I could, and as it relates to the master plan for this. I want to point out that, again, this particular area is shown as an employment center in the master plan, so the district would be consistent with our master plan criteria, which would be a factor related to the discretionary findings that the board should make. Also identified as an area change, again, a part of that discretionary finding that the board should make. Water master plan for the area, the applicants have provided information in their service plan that initially the district will likely operate off of wells. However, as the area grows, the district will then form into potentially a central water provider, wastewater provider, as funding is made available. Standard disclosures are required, and the applicant has agreed to those. They did provide a copy of the standard disclosure within their service plan as required, and that service plan is an attachment to your backup material in the staff report. Are there any other questions by the board that I can answer?
Any questions from the board on the material so far? All right. Is that the end of the staff
Yes, sir.
presentation? Okay, very good. All right. So at this point, I don't think we have any other testimony from the staff at this point. So let's go ahead and see if there's anybody in the audience or online that wishes to testify in favor of this application. Anybody online? Okay, very good. I don't see anybody coming down. And I'll also ask the same question. Is there anybody in the public, either in the audience or online, that would like to testify in opposition to this application? I see nobody as well. Still nobody online? Okay. And since there was no comments from the public, normally we would give the applicant the opportunity to comment to those comments, but we have no comments from today's hearing. So I'll just bring this up to the dais and ask the commissioners if you have any final remaining questions on this application. All right, seeing none, let's go and I'll entertain a motion for this item then at this point.
I will move approval of item 4 with the noted corrections.
Second.
All right, that's been moved and seconded. Now just ask one quick question. Do we need to also indicate the motion includes the conditions
Changes
and
in,
notations?
Yep, changes and notations and also the correction.
Thank you very much.
The
All
agenda.
right. And I assume the second also agrees with that. Okay, very good. We have a motion and a second for the vote. I don't think I see any other questions for anybody. Let's proceed with the vote. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Bremer.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That passes 5-0. Congratulations to the team up there, to the applicant. All right, let us move on to the next item, which is item number 5.
Item 5, department and committee reports, non-action items. There are none.
Great. And item number 6.
Item 6 is the addendum. There is no addendum.
All right. Item number 7.
Item 7 is executive session. There's no request for executive session.
All right. And seeing no further business for this 1 o'clock land use meeting, this meeting is adjourned. And just be advised, we initiated our informal meeting upstairs, but was unable to complete it. We will go back upstairs and continue with the informal meeting.